All right, Alexander, let's do a follow up on what's going on in Germany. And you now have Laschet, who is going to be the pick for chancellor for the CDU, the CSU, Merkel's successor, I guess you could say. And since he was picked, it looks like the Greens now are the top party in Germany. So by picking Laschet, the latest polls show that the Greens are now the number one party. I've got the poll here from Forza, Germany Forza poll, and it has the Greens EFA at 28%, plus 5. CDU, CSU, minus 6. SPD, 21%, sorry, minus 6. So 28% Greens, 21% CDU, CSU, SPD 13%, minus 2. FDP 12% plus 3, AfD 11%, and Linke 7% minus 1. So there you have it. After this decision, the numbers have come in, and Germany could be run by the Green Party. That would be, oh boy, buckle up, folks.
Well, it would. Well, it would be. I mean, that would be turbocharged DNC type politics. Imported into Germany, to be straightforward. But I mean, let's just look at these polling figures. I mean, they are a shattering testament on 16 years of Merkelism, and not just 16 years, but especially the last 4 years. I mean, there was the election in September 2017. The CDU, CSU, SPD coalition did badly in the polls. The SPD especially crashed. The CDU, CSU did dismally also. And all the indications were, back in 2017, that the German people wanted a change. And what they got instead was exactly the same thing. It was, I referenced it, I called it in an article at the time, a zombie government, a government of ghosts. People who were utterly spent and exhausted, were completely empty of ideas, but they still presided over Germany, and the result was Germany drifted. It was an appalling state of affairs, propping up a leader, Merkel, whom the German people have just completely lost patience with. And the result is a total crash. 21% for the CDU, CSU is unprecedented. This is the party that has dominated German politics since the Second World War, that has provided most of Germany's chancellors, that has ruled Germany for most of that time, that was the absolutely hegemonic party within West Germany. And it is imploding. And the SPD, which was the other big party in Germany, has imploded even further. There doesn't seem to be any point at which its fall is going to end. But, and here is the calamity of it, there isn't an alternative to these two parties, because the Greens are not the alternative. What they offer is Merkelism with green characteristics. I mean, it's not going to really change anything in Europe. It's not going to change anything in Germany. It is a political system in a state of extreme decay, but with no real indication of any clear idea by anybody of what the alternative is. Alternatives, real alternatives to the right, like the AfD, are being excluded. Real alternatives to the left, like Die Linke, are being hammered down. And in that vacuum, in that open space, it's the Greens who seem to be benefiting at the moment.
What exactly does it mean to have Germany run by a Green Party? I mean, it sounds nice, a Green Party. You get a warm, fuzzy feeling when you think of a Green Party. You know, this is a nutty, sinister bunch. I mean, these people
absolutely.
are like way left.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you like, AOC with even greener characteristics. If you want to know what that's going to amount to, it's going to amount to that. Of course, they have the problem that the Euro system exists, which in theory should constrain them, but of course it won't. They're much more anti-Russian than any. I mean, they are the big anti-Russian party in Germany. All the other parties are not anti-Russian to anything like the same extent. But they are the very anti-Russian party, just like the left in the United States is the anti-Russian bloc in the United States. The Greens are reliably that in Germany also. And they have their ideas. I mean, I'm not by any means, by the way, hostile to to ecological things. I mean, there are lots of things you could do which reduce carbon capture, and they make industrial processes more efficient. But if you run an entire economy in that kind of way, then of course you're going to run into massive problems, especially if you are led by a party whose focus is not the economy, it's the environment. So you're going to sacrifice the economy to the environment. Now, either that changes, when they become the dominant party in Germany, they will change and they'll become much more practical, and then they'll focus on the economy instead, at which point what's the point of them? And I expect much of their base to be disillusioned and to go away, and it'll be their turn to implode. Or they will follow through on all their ideas, in which case it'll be the economy that will implode. But you can't really see it work. At least I don't see how it can. I mean, as a lobby group, they can achieve some things. As a government, they're a disaster. At least that's my interpretation.
Do you think it'll hold? I mean, do you think they'll actually get into government? Like they'll actually
Well,
rule?
I
Not
think
get into government. You think they'll actually, rule over Germany, the Greens, or will it shift?
Well, I mean, I think the thing to say, first of all, a few points. I mean, 28% is nowhere near a majority. They would have to go into coalition with someone. I mean, it would either be with the CDU-CSU, which is, of course, Germany's big business party, or it would be with the SPD and Die Linke and perhaps the FDP in a very unstable coalition, and we'll see how that would work out. So either way doesn't look very coherent to me. The other thing is, of course, it's possible that between now and September, the CDU-CSU might revive, despite the fact that Laschet is clearly not a person that people are warming to or taking to at all. But it may be that there's a reaction and that people will say, just a moment, we can't have, the Greens may be all very well, but we can't have them in government. So it may be that it won't quite work out fully like that. But the trend, the trajectory of travel, as I like to say, is pointing in one very clear direction, to the centrist establishment parties, the CDU, CSU, SPD, collapsing, and the Greens rising. And it could be, it's not impossible, that what we could actually see is between now and September, that trend even accelerating. It's difficult to convey to outsiders how unhappy and dissatisfied Germans are with the state of things. And I could quite easily see lots of people voting Green simply because they're so sick and tired of Merkelism, of all that it embodies and all that it represents, that they bundle into voting for the Greens in order to sort of bring this whole period in German history to an end, and end up with a much bigger Green majority than they expect, or plurality than they expect, and with even more problems for Germany, far more problems for Germany going forward. To be perfectly frank, I think Germany is in for a very rough time in the future. Merkel's stability, 16 years of stability, which wasn't real stability, it was stagnation and immobilism, is creating chaos.
Yeah, and a final point is what would this mean for the EU? Because it's just incredible. If the Greens are running Germany, it means essentially the Greens are running the European Union, or at least they exert the most influence on the European Union. So you're going to have a European Union that's going to be even more. It already is. It's going to be even more neoliberal, even more eco ideology, even more AOC Green New Deal in their policies and structure. I mean, you're going to go. The EU already leads that way, but it's just going to go full on AOC squad, Green New Deal, neoliberal crazy.
And also, you should quickly add identity focused, because all the identity issues that are so big in the US, well, the Greens take all that and they take it even further, possibly.
Which is why
so
they hate Russia
all
so
of those
much.
Things.
Which is why the Green parties traditionally hate Russia so much, right? Because it's the societal, it's the identity politics stuff.
Exactly. Now, and all of this happening at the very time when across Europe it's increasingly provoking a reaction. So when you said at the beginning, I mean, buckle up because, we're in for a very, very rough ride. Well, it looks to me as if we are, because, you're going to have a government in Berlin that has a very utopian vision for Germany, an unsustainable one, a very utopian vision for Europe, an unsustainable one, that doesn't frankly look to me as if it has a practical idea of how to govern or how to take Germany forward, and which is going to provoke a reaction both in Europe and in Germany. So buckle up, exciting times. We are going to be living in very interesting times in Europe, as the Chinese like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Anyway, all right. I'll drop a 10% coupon code down below to the Duran shop. Take care, everybody.